as part of your responsibility as architect, you have a role in presidential inaugurations and have served under a number of presidents. Tell us about that.
Well, because I'm a presidential appointee, I assume that that's the basis for the custom. But when the president comes, like for the State of the Union, I greet him when he arrives. The president normally is taken to a holding room, waiting for the proper time to come to the House floor for the State of the Union. And the leadership of the Congress will come first and meet him in the holding room and then escort him onto the House floor. And I bring him to the holding room. So there are times when he and I and whoever else is there, like the Sergeant at Arms, may also greet him when he arrives. We'll be in the holding room alone with him. On one occasion, under President Reagan, he and I were alone in the holding room. The Sergeant at Arms had gone out for something. And he was telling this story about talking to a congressman who had come to visit him. And he always wore his boots, living on a ranch out there, as you know. And as he was talking to the congressman who had one of his children with him, a rattlesnake had worked his way over there and was close to the child. And this is President Reagan telling this story. And he said, I went over and put my foot on the back and the neck of the snake to hold him down. He said, and I looked down and I'd forgotten to wear my boots. So that's the kind of thing I might get into in that process.
Now, you're also responsible for the inaugurations in the Capitol, at the Capitol.
Yes, and in that regard, the inaugurations since the time of Lincoln had always been on the east front of the Capitol. And we built scaffolding in order to support seats and wooden bleachers and so on, which was very costly and limited the number of people that could see it. I suggested to the leadership of the Congress at that time that we move the inauguration to the west front of the Capitol, where there was unlimited space for attendees, and there's also a beautiful vista from the Capitol. I took the leadership out onto the west front, and there you are looking down the mall. I said, what more magnificent space could you find than this for a major ceremony? They agreed. And so since that time, which was, I believe, the Reagan inaugural, it's always been on the west front. So I've had a good feeling about my suggestion having been adopted.
How many presidents have you served under?
6.
Starting with
Starting with Nixon.